Hello Gemini, welcome to your weekly tarot reading here on Dove and Serpent Tarot. This is for the week of February 26th through March 4th. Please like, comment, and subscribe to the channel, especially if this reading resonates with you. Now, this is going to be a general reading, so try to be open and receptive to whatever may come through during our time together. I am merely the messenger, and I ask you to connect directly with each card and use your own intuition to take you beyond the details that I'm providing. Okay. Remember that the most important part of any tarot reading is you. And look at that, we've got the Sun card to start us out. That's a really beautiful, beautiful energy. Let's put that into some context with our Dove and Serpent spread and see what we've got going on this week. I feel like that solar energy of yours is really going to be needed. Let's go ahead and do our mystery card, bonus card, confirmation card, whatever you want to call it. Let's leave that right over here. We're not going to look at that till the very end of the reading. Okay, so you got to stick around until the end, and hopefully that will, tie the reading together and give us the confirmation that we're looking for at the very end of things. Okay, so just looking around here, we got quite a few court cards. We've got some air, some fire, a lot of major. We've got some more earth and fire. So it's really mostly majors and the court cards here. We have a little bit of air, a little bit of fire, some earth. What I'm not really seeing is a lot of water, okay? There are no specific cup cards here. So it feels to me like this is, and there's kind of a lot of fire, but very little water. So I think that this is a challenge for you this week to act decisively about something and not get too carried away by your emotions, right? It's almost like there's a difficult decision facing you and you really have to react in the most proper way, the most kind of self-preserving and self-protecting way, right? But let's see what's going on. First thing we had is that Sun card. I think that you're someone who is very much focused on your health, physical health, mental health, your overall spiritual well-being. I think that you are someone who is tremendously optimistic. I think that most of the time you have a pretty good outlook about things. You tend to, give other people the benefit of the doubt. You tend to be very inviting, very warm, very accepting. I get this feeling like you're a very generous and charitable person. Maybe not so much like handing out money, but with your energy, with your love and with your support and your cheerfulness, your optimism kind of. I feel like you're also a very, very popular person now. I don't think you're popular in the sense that like everybody wants to be your friend, but I think you're popular in the way that everybody's kind of jealous of the close friends that you do have. You know what I mean? I think you keep your friends very close. You probably value their quality over their quantity, right? You don't want to be the most popular person, in the town, but you're very well loved and supported and cherished by the people that you do have close to you, right? I think you're a very well-liked person. I think you are popular in the sense that when you go out into the world, you tend to meet people fairly easily. You tend to be someone with a kind of easy flow of conversation, right? I feel like you have a certain charm about you. Now, I know that's not always the case. Okay, I know this probably fluctuates, especially seeing the cards that we see here today. It feels like you're not always a cheerful and outgoing person, right? I don't think anyone can be like on all the time, right? But I think this week is kind of going to be a test of this solar energy that you've got, right? It's going to be a test of both your kind of clear thinking, your rational thinking, the clarity with which you deal with situations, especially situations that are involving some of the limited water energy that we see, especially this Moon card, ruled by Pisces, water sign, some water energy here. I think that there are no other elemental water cards in this reading because you are safeguarding your emotions. It's almost as if sometimes this solar nature is like this warm and loving outward expression of your energy is really keeping something else within you very secure. You know what I mean? This is almost like a defense against people. I think that you like to get close to people, but only those chosen few. Do you know what I'm trying to say? It's like you're very sociable. I think you are very popular, but those people that really get into your inner circle, your inner sanctum, limited number of people, right? Limited number of people. And I think that's because you have this clarity about you. You have this this ability to really see through the darkness, to see through the muddy waters, okay? And I think with this, you're also a very good friend. You're a very, what's the word that I'm looking for? You're a very fair friend. I think that you'll tell people not what they want to hear, but what they need to hear. And that's you really being this warm and loving person. You're not just doing it to be cruel or mean or put people down, but you're also not sugarcoating things and just telling people what they want to hear, because that's not helpful. And I feel like you're the type of person that really wants everyone to succeed. You want everyone to be, successful and healthy and happy and fulfilled, right? So I think that this is kind of the energy that's going to be challenged this week, okay? And I don't know if there's something going on with your group of friends, or maybe this is family, maybe this is work. Kind of feels like a work thing to me because of all the Earth court cards that we see. But let's get into some of the details and see what really is going on. Recent past. We have a 7 of Swords here. There was definitely some kind of disagreement in the past where there were people who just seemed to not be on the same page with each other. It seems like there was a lot of trust put into a certain person because of the central sword here, a lot of trust. And that was, in some ways, I don't know if it was betrayed, but there were a lot of kind of overstepping the boundaries by this person, okay? And I don't know if this is the Princess of Wands that we see up here, or it could be one of these other court cards, because there are a few, but they're all fire, they're all earth, right? So I think this is some kind of basically an argument at work, right? It's some fire on the material plane that I think you're trying to put out. I think you're trying to act as the central sun here, that kind of solar figure that is trying to keep everything else in a smooth orbit, right? Trying to keep the whole system functioning, and it feels like you're at the center, just like the sun, okay? But here in the recent past, this could be some kind of gossiping. This could be just some personal information that this person revealed, or was just a little bit careless with some kind of personal information, right? They were entrusted with a lot, and they didn't really live up to the trust that was placed in them, okay? And this isn't necessarily a work thing. This could be something that's happening in the home, because these earth cards, especially the Queen and the Prince here, is kind of telling me, and then interestingly, we have the Knight and the Princess in the fire, so we have the whole family, right? It feels to me like it's something on the physical plane, so it's either in the workplace or in the home. It's in the physical environment, right? It's in the environment where you have your personal existence, right? So either at work, or it's in the house, in the home, okay? And I feel like it feels like it's involving the whole family, okay? And I don't know where exactly you fit into this group of people. If this is something where you are not like an outside force, but you are somehow a figurehead. Somehow you're at the center of this, right? And you're the one that's trying to keep everything kind of organized, keep everything flowing. But back to the 7 of Swords here. There was some kind of violation or stepping over a boundary, Okay? That was done by someone. I don't think it was you that crossed the line, but I feel like it is your kind of mission now to figure this thing out. You know what I mean? And again, this could have been the mishandling of some personal information. It could be just a violation of trust. Maybe someone just spent a crazy amount of money without telling you. Just something like this where you almost feel like they should have known better, and it kind of came as a shock why this happened. Okay, it does feel like it's something related to finances, something related to, again, either the workplace, which is then, financial, or it's with a home, with the bills, with a repair. Maybe something got damaged, perhaps. Could be that a reputation got damaged, okay? Because the central sword here feels like it's under attack, and this is almost someone's integrity. This is like the trust that we've placed in this person. That's kind of under attack now, And I think that your solar energy here, this sun card that we have, is being tested. It's kind of being relied upon to fix all of this. Like, I kind of feel like you're the fixer here. Let's go beneath the surface, because we have a 4 of Wands down here. This is telling me indeed that you are a very organized person, that you're the one in charge, And I think you have the responsibility, the commitment to keep this thing going kind of at all costs. So it feels like it is like a family, right? Because if it's a work thing, I'm sure there's somebody else who, could take care of this. It probably will fall on someone else's shoulder eventually up the line, right? But I feel like it's a family because it's almost like the buck stops with you, okay? And this is something that you need to figure out. And I feel like the 4 of Wands here is about you putting in some kind of new, like, regulation or some new kind of safeguard, or it's like a new password on the bank account kind of thing, right? And not exactly that. Doesn't necessarily have to be about these individual details. But I think this is about you trying to prevent this from happening again. It's almost like we're in this mess now, and you kind of wish you would have implemented something else before, or somehow prevented this from happening. Because I feel like you're someone that does anticipate what's coming next. You have a very keen sense of knowing what's going to happen, and planning for it, and preventing it, and making sure the outcome is okay. You have a very organized kind of flow to the way you do things. And this, again, of course, is telling me that you're in the center, because look, that's the wheel. I think you're at the center of that wheel, and the elements are just kind of revolving around you the way the planets will revolve around this sun card. Could be something involving your children. Maybe they're in some kind of predicament. Maybe they caused some kind of trouble, or they got themselves into a little bit of a mess that you now have to clean up. But I definitely feel as if you're the center of this wheel. You're the solar kind of figurehead, and everything is revolving around you in the sense that you're keeping it all together, right? It's your gravity, it's your power, it's your presence that keeps everything and perhaps everyone in line, all right? Now, who is the troublemaker? Let's look at this Princess of Wands that we have up here. This could be a younger sibling, a younger family member, child, perhaps. It could be a newer employee. Maybe if this is your department at work, it's a younger employee that's in the scene now. But I think this is the person that is kind of instigating this trouble, that may be responsible for some of this mess that we're in. It's almost like they are, well, like the Princess of Wands is a little bit of a pyromaniac, okay? They just enjoy setting little fires, maybe playing with matches a little bit too much, they've caused a bit of a problem. Not literally, okay? I don't think anything is burning. If it is, call the emergency services. But I think this is something that kind of feels like that to you. It feels like this is an emergency. And I really believe that it's part of the evolution of Gemini sun signs particularly, to kind of assess and correct, maybe, perhaps, I don't know, maybe not correct, but to assess and to augment and to maybe improve their reaction to emergency situations, right? It's almost like the roof is ready to come down on top of you, and you've got to do the right thing in an instant. You don't have time to weigh the options. You don't have time to figure things out. You don't have time for the air energy, and that, I don't see any air energy here. So I think that you have already done the work in that area, right? I think that, especially with the Four of Wands down here, you already have done this work of like training yourself, right? It's like the more we train, then the more able we can handle the disasters, the emergencies, the crises, right? And I don't think this is anything as serious as, an actual building on fire, but it could feel that way, abstractly, metaphorically, that there is this emergency. And I think it is kind of like the roof is about to cave in, and you've got to act immediately to kind of get everyone out of the house, right? And I think that whatever is going on is still related to this Seven of Swords. I wish we had a little bit more information on that Seven of Swords, about what that was, because that is really the only air energy that we see. So it's some kind of perhaps lies, deception, a violation of trust, a stepping over of boundaries. But it's something to do with the exchange of information and the communication. So it could be that, someone lied to you and they went out and did something other than what they told you they were doing and got themselves into this mess, The present situation is a little bit like this Moon card. I think that as time moves on, this situation seems to get worse and worse and worse and worse, right? It's like the moon is waning, or sorry, waxing, and or maybe it is waning the other way. But the situation's getting perhaps darker and darker and darker as time goes on, okay? And the moon and the sun here, these cards kind of go together, right? And I think that the solar energy is much more powerful than this lunar energy. It just needs to be activated. So I really don't think there's too much of a challenge here for you, other than just putting your energy into action, right? Just kind of flipping the switch and taking care of what needs to be taken care of. I feel like you're already doing that, I feel like this is pretty much a validation and a confirmation of what you're already doing, to be honest with you. Because we don't see any of the air energy, so it's not as if you have too much internal debate. It's not like you have to weigh the pros and cons. It's not like you're still trying to figure out what to do. There's no water energy here, so it's not like you are just frustrated and mad and in your feelings about it and just kind of pouting, right? You're ready to take action. We've got fire and earth. We've got fire and earth. That is plenty of active energy to overcome the little bit of air and water that we see, right? So the air and water are kind of already on their way out as I'm doing this reading. So I think that you're already in the middle of this, and you're probably shaking your head now saying, this is almost done. I'm almost out of this situation already. Okay, and I'm happy about that. So this really is, I think, your focus, and this is the energy that you've activated, and this is what is going to really illumine the situation. It's going to bring light to this dark period now. It's going to reveal all of the uncertainties, all of the hidden information, any of the deception, all of the truth is basically going to be revealed, and you're going to get to the bottom of everything. Everything's going to be clear, and the way forward is going to be clear, and you're going to take care of the situation. And now we've got some more moon energy. This is the High Priestess. It's like this is the scary moon of our nightmares. This is the beautiful moon that lights our way, that shows us the way through the darkness, shows us the way into the deeper mysteries, right? So with this High Priestess card in the future, I think that this is really just a rather simple test of your spiritual evolution as it stands. You know, I think it's a very simple reminder, really, that you're doing the work, that you are someone who is really focused on the spiritual growth. And maybe it's not consciously, maybe you don't consider it, spiritual growth. I know sometimes that word spiritual has some weird connotations with people these days. So we don't have to call it that. I think you're always working to improve yourself, right? With this moon energy, the priestess energy, this is a moon that is increasing its brilliance, increasing its light, okay? You're trying to improve and increase your ability to handle these stressful situations. It could be that you're a parent, and the more trouble your kid gets into, the more you feel like you've got to adapt and grow and evolve so that you can deal with all of these things. I mean, I have a 2.5-year-old, and she's very strong-willed, right? And she wants to do what she wants to do, and she's 2.5. She's still learning, But the thing is, I'm still learning too. So I'm still trying to adapt to her changing nature, her evolution, her evolving nature, And that is reminding me, in sometimes some very blunt ways, that I need to evolve, that I need to grow, that I need to improve myself. Maybe a little bit faster so that I can possibly one day be a step ahead, But I think it's the same kind of thing. I think you're someone who's very much focused on improving yourself. We don't have to call it spiritual work or inner work or anything like that. I think you're just looking to do better all the time. And I think you are indeed. I think with the energy that we have here, I don't know why we're doing this reading. I feel like you've already got things pretty well handled. You're already on this wheel, this cycle of confronting your issues and dealing with them, in whatever way we do that. It's individual. And you're allowing this wheel to continue. You're moving forward. You're making progress, kind of one thing at a time, one issue at a time, one crisis at a time, And you're able to keep this wheel turning. You're able to continually grow and improve and better yourself. I think that you probably have some spiritual practices. I think you probably meditate. You maybe have rituals, prayers. I think that you probably do some kind of divination yourself, tarot cards, tea leaves, geomancy, maybe Jing. I feel like you're using every tool at your disposal for that self-improvement, And I'm really happy that we have both of these moon cards here, because they're completely different energies. They're both the moon, but completely different energies. Right? One is that darkness, that nightmare, that's waiting for the sun, right? The sun down here beneath it, waiting for the sun to come and fix everything, And I think that's what you're doing in an outward conscious way. You're the sun that has to come into this darkness. You're that solar energy, right? That has to come into the darkness, illumine everything. Like, you got to turn the light switch on, see what's going on so you can fix it. But we also have this High Priestess card. So this is telling me that it's not just you in a practical way consciously coming in and turning the light switch on. This is you really trying to use those kinds of experiences to, let's say, borrow the light, right? What does the moon do? Borrows the light from the sun. So you're trying to take some of that energy and use it for your own growth. You're not just thinking externally and practically got to fix the situation. You're using it as fuel for growth, for your own spiritual evolution, whatever you want to call it. Whatever you want to call it. So I think this is really the important factor in what's going on this week. And again, I don't know if this is at work or this is at home, maybe with the kids or family members, siblings, we're moving over to the path of the serpent now, and I do just want to say that these cards are always correct. Sometimes as the interpreter, I can't always associate each card with your exact situation, right? Could be work, could be at home. The details don't really matter. I think it's what's underlying those details. But anyway, I ask you to try to connect directly with the images and the energies and use your own intuition. I think that's an important component of these readings is your efforts as well. You have to be, we call it an active listener. Anyway, Path of the Serpent now. The first card, General Energy, is some fire energy, 7 of Wands here. I feel like you are definitely someone that likes a challenge. I think that you really do thrive on a kind of, honestly, I'm kind of getting like a Law and Order kind of vibe, not the TV show, but someone who is really, you stand up for the underdog, right? It's almost like, I feel like you're always, if you're watching sports, you're always rooting for the team that's losing at the moment. I'm that way too. I'm not into sports very much, so if I have to watch some sports, I always want the underdog to make the comeback, right? If one team's getting dominated, I want that team to just rally and overcome and win, right? I think you're the same way about life. I think that you want everything to be fair, but I don't think it's so much about fairness as it is about what's just, right? I think there's a difference between fair and then what's just. And I think you're someone that roots for the underdog. And you want to see the losing team rally and come back. And I think maybe it's because you've had to overcome some pretty steep climbs yourself. I think there's been some challenges in your life that you've had to overcome. Perhaps at some point in your life you felt like you were the underdog. And you came back. And you overcame. So I feel like this is a big part of, why this situation is so meaningful to you right now. Okay? Could be something going on in this situation with these coworkers or these family members. Feels like an underdog situation, feels like a bullying situation, feels like someone who has had their boundaries violated or that line's been crossed, right? Whatever the 7 of Swords situation or event was. I think you are coming onto the scene and you're standing up for what is right. I think that's part of the situation. That's maybe the underlying kind of motivation behind this. And also I think that you're probably the head of the household or the head of the department or the supervisor or whatever. So it's literally your responsibility. But I think there is a more personal motive for you. Excuse me. The next card. Now we're going into the last 3 cards on the Path of the Serpent. And this is Earth, Fire, Earth. These are all court cards. So these might be some other energies in you. They could at the same time be other people involved here. Okay. So the first one is this Prince of Pentacles. This is in the position of your environment, and this has some air energy attached to it. So I feel like this is probably the person who is doing the violating, the boundary crossing, right? I think they are someone who has maybe leveled some accusations against someone, or they've started some kind of rumors or gossip, something with information. Maybe they've released some personal information, or they're using some information as a weapon to to damage someone else's reputation. It could be some kind of workplace, treachery going on. Could be in the home as well, But I think this is the culprit. I think they are, they feel younger. They almost feel like this is going to be, like if it's one of your children, this would be like the older brother. If this is someone at work, this is like someone that's been there for a little while and thinks they know a lot now. Still a young person, but just thinks that they know better than everybody else because they have this kind of youthful arrogance, right? And I think it's like almost like a false bravado, almost like they feel so entitled what they're doing, or they feel that somehow they are, not that they're being right or just or fair, but that they don't have to adhere to those same rules, it feels like. It feels like they feel like they're above the law and they're entitled in some way, okay? I think this is the person that's causing the mess over here. And then we've got this fiery energy again. This is the Knight of Wands. This could be someone who is older. This could be part of your energy that really just wants to swoop in and take this person out. Like just kick them out, fire them, tell them to leave, just get rid of them, right? And that's just kind of some really impulsive action on your part. And that's where we're kind of looking at this like, okay, the roof is starting to cave in. What is your initial reaction going to be? Well, I think your initial reaction is just to run out of the house as fast as you can. And that would be the equivalent to just getting rid of this person just outright. If this is the person that you think is causing the problems, they're out of here. Okay, just quick, decisive, impulsive, not a lot of thought or planning involved there. But I think doing that, we're going to be kind of jumping the gun a little bit. We're being a little bit too hasty, a little bit too impulsive, and the roof is still coming down. We may have ran out, but we forgot the pets. We forgot the valuables, the family, whatever. So acting impulsively could lead you to make an incorrect choice, right? And then if we get rid of this person who we think is causing the trouble, well, what if there are more factors involved? What if there are other people? What if there was a better course of action that would have revealed more about what's going on, revealed the complexity? You can't just take this person out because they may have the information that you need to uncover the deeper kind of conspiracy, right? I'm not trying to be too dramatic. I'm trying to just kind of illustrate the point. So this is where I think you've been doing a lot of work with trying to temper your responses, trying to know, and not that you've like run through this scenario before so you know exactly how to handle it, but I think you've been doing enough of this inner work or the spiritual work, whatever you want to call it, where your kind of instant reactions to things are going to be more in line with your will, your purpose, your goals, and what you're trying to accomplish, right? It's not just going to be running out of the house. It's going to be now you're gathering up everything that's important and then you're making a smooth getaway, right? It's not just pushing everybody aside and running out, right? I think that was on an episode of Seinfeld. But this is something that's a little bit more thoughtful, and not that you have to pause in the moment to figure it out, but you've already done the work, so your instant reactions are going to be more, like I said at the beginning, more correct, but I don't like that word, just kind of more in line with what your ultimate goals are, okay? But this also could be an older, kind of fiery person involved in the situation, someone that may be making things worse just by they're just like shouting and complaining about stuff. They're just adding to the chaos and the confusion. They're not really helping, but they're kind of making it worse. You know what I mean? I think there's that person involved here. The final card on the path of the Serpent is this Queen of Pentacles. This is representing you finally getting a break at the end of this, kind of sitting down, resting, having a glass of water, having something to eat, and just kind of going over the scenario in your head, just kind of letting it, just running back through it, letting it play out in your head to see like how you handled it, what you could have done differently. I think this is like the retrospective that is part of this inner work that then allows the next challenge to be handled in an even better way. You know what I mean? It's kind of like you're debriefing yourself a little bit. I think that this is you being successful in resolving this issue. And I think this is you getting the break and the rest that you need, and then also doing this kind of self-debriefing, this retrospective to kind of take a look at things and how they played out. Okay, so this is a really good ending to the Path of the Serpent. I do want to check out this mystery card. I feel like I kind of want to say that it's going to be not something that resolves quickly. I know we said that you're kind of already in the middle of this and you feel like, well, this is already almost over. Remember I said that? But now I'm feeling like this is still lingering. There's something that's causing a delay here. I almost wonder if this is going to be the World or the Universe card. Because I'm getting this feeling like this is a little too easy, a little too clean. You know? And there's got to be something more to it, because otherwise, why are we here, right? Yeah, the World or Universe card. So there is something that is causing a delay here. And it may be that there's this Prince of Pentacles person has some more information that you need to get to the bottom of. I think that this issue, this situation, goes a little bit deeper than it may appear at first. It's almost like the plot of some, police procedural. You think you've solved it, but we still got 20 minutes left in this episode, so something else. There has to be a twist, right? So I feel like with this Universe or World card, there will be a twist. There is something that we're not seeing. It could be that you've been after a red herring. It could be that there's just more that gets uncovered, that gets revealed, right? It's like maybe another can of worms. So be ready for that. I think that's the message here, because I was feeling like this is a little bit too A, B, C, a little bit too linear and straightforward. There's some kind of twist coming. I think with this Universe or World card, this is indicating a delay. I think it's like we still got 20 minutes left in this episode. There's got to be a twist. Okay, so look out for that twist. Gemini, we're going to take a look in the extended. If you want to stick around, click on the link that's right here. And that link is how you become a member to the channel. Okay, and then you'll get notifications when we send out the extended readings, and you can have access to the extended playlist and all of that sort of thing. Okay, but that's how you join. I just want to thank you for being here and watching this video. If there's anything that you would like me to pray over or meditate upon or send out some good energy, some good vibes somewhere, leave it in the comments and let me know. Okay, I read every comment. This was your weekly tarot reading for February 26th through March 4th on Dove and Serpent Tarot.